The family dinner table fell silent as my mother-in-law, Vivian Carter, slammed her designer handbag onto the mahogany surface. "This charade has gone on long enough," she declared, pulling out a stack of papers. "I've hired private investigators to look into your background, Laura. It's time my son knew the truth about who he married." I kept my face carefully neutral, continuing to feed my 6-month-old daughter her baby food. My husband, Adam, looked between us, confusion evident on his face. "Mom, what are you talking about?" Vivian spread the papers dramatically across the table. "Your wife isn't just a secretary at Archer Enterprises, as she claims. She's been lying about everything. If only she knew how right and wrong she was at the same time. Yes, I wasn't just a secretary. I was the CEO and majority owner of Archer Enterprises, working undercover to investigate a series of suspicious acquisitions. But I couldn't reveal that yet, not until we found who was trying to steal my company." According to these investigations, Vivian continued smugly, she's been accessing confidential company files, attending secret meetings, and hiding her real activities from everyone. Adam turned to me, hurt in his eyes. "Laura, is this true?" I started, but Vivian wasn't finished. "She's obviously trying to steal company secrets for a competitor. Why else would a mere secretary have access to the CEO's private files?" She turned to Adam. "Darling, I've already contacted our lawyers. We can have this marriage annulled, claiming fraud." What Vivian didn't know was that her own recent activities had raised red flags in our security system. Anonymous shell companies trying to buy up Archer Enterprises stock, suspicious emails from offshore accounts, all traced back to the Carter family's private server. "Think about it," Vivian pressed. "Have you ever seen her boss, this mysterious CEO she claims to work for? No one has, because she's been lying about everything." Adam looked torn. We had met when he came to fix the company's IT systems. Me pretending to be a secretary, him unaware that I owned the building he was working in. It had been real, falling in love with someone who didn't know about my wealth or power. "There's more," Vivian smiled coldly. "I've already spoken to Archer Enterprises' board of directors. They're very interested in what I've discovered about their employees' activities." My phone buzzed, a message from my head of security. "Urgent. Carter Industries attempting hostile takeover. Emergency board meeting called for tomorrow." Vivian was right about one thing. It was time for the truth to come out, just not the truth she expected. As if on cue, my daughter knocked over her bowl of baby food, splattering Vivian's evidence files with pureed carrots. "You can't even control your own child," Vivian snapped. "How could you possibly be anything more than what you are? A secretary who tricked my son into marriage." I stood up slowly, wiping my daughter's face. "You're right, Vivian. It's time everyone knew the truth." I pulled out my phone, pressing a single button. "Send in the files." The doorbell rang, and Vivian's smug smile began to fade. The door opened to reveal Charles Parker, Archer Enterprises' silver-haired chief legal officer. Behind him stood a team of serious-looking executives, all members of the board Vivian claimed to have contacted. "Mrs. Carter." Charles nodded politely. "I believe you've been expecting us, though perhaps not quite like this." Vivian's perfectly manicured hands began to shake. I don't understand. I spoke with the board yesterday." "No," Charles corrected, setting down his briefcase. "You spoke with actors hired by your private investigator. The Rayol board has been monitoring your activities very carefully." Adam stood up, his tech-savvy mind quickly connecting the dots. "Mom, what have you done?" Charles pulled out a laptop, displaying emails and financial records. "Mrs. Carter has been attempting to orchestrate a hostile takeover of Archer Enterprises through a series of shell companies. Unfortunately for her, she was trying to steal from the wrong person." "That's ridiculous," Vivian protested. "I was protecting the company from her." She jabbed a finger at me. "She's the one accessing confidential files." "Of course she is," Charles smiled. "They're her files." The room went silent, except for my daughter's happy babbling as she played with her spoon. "What do you mean, her files?" Adam asked quietly. I took a deep breath. My full name is Laura Archer. I'm not the CEO's secretary. I'm the CEO and majority shareholder of Archer Enterprises. Vivian laughed hysterically. Impossible. The CEO is a reclusive genius who never appears in public. Everyone knows that. Yes, Charles agreed. A carefully crafted image that allowed Ms. Archer to work alongside her employees, learning every aspect of her company while watching for corporate espionage. Like, for example, a mother-in-law using her son's credentials to hack our systems. Adam's face went pale. Mom used my security access? Every time you worked late, I explained gently. Your mother's team was using your credentials to probe our networks. We detected it months ago but needed to understand the full scope of the operation. Vivian's composure cracked completely. You don't understand. Carter Industries is failing. We needed this acquisition to survive. About Carter Industries, Charles interjected, pulling out more documents. Our investigation uncovered some interesting transfers from your company's pension fund. Before he could continue, Vivian grabbed her phone and pressed a button. Suddenly, every computer screen in the house lit up with the same message. Data transfer initiated. If I'm going down, she snarled. I'm taking your precious company secrets with me. What she didn't notice was my daughter still playing with a spoon, happily pressing buttons on the special toy phone I'd given her. A phone that was about to disrupt Vivian's entire plan. Data transfer complete. The screens flashed. Vivian's triumphant smile lasted exactly 3 seconds before all the displays changed to show a cartoon baby giggling. What is this? She demanded. I picked up my daughter's toy phone. A decoy network. Did you really think I'd let you access our real systems through Adam's home office? Every file you thought you were stealing has been fake, created specifically for you to find. Impossible. Vivian's perfectly maintained facade was crumbling. Our tech team confirmed it, Adam interrupted, understanding dawning on his face. You mean the same team that's been helping you empty our employees' pension funds? Charles nodded gravely. We have proof that Carter Industries has been systematically draining their pension accounts to fund this takeover attempt. Over 3,000 employees' retirement savings. Gone. Vivian's phone rang. Her face went ashen as she read the message. No, this isn't happening. That would be the SEC, Charles explained. They're currently raiding Carter Industries offices. Your board members are being arrested as we speak. But Vivian wasn't listening anymore. She was staring at her phone, fingers flying across the screen. You think you've won? I still have one card left to play. She looked up with a dangerous smile. Tell them about Project Phoenix, Laura. Tell them what Archer Enterprises is really working on. I felt the blood drain from my face. Project Phoenix was our most classified research initiative. A quantum computing breakthrough that could revolutionize global communications. No one outside the highest levels of the company knew about it. How do you know about Phoenix? I demanded. Vivian's smile widened. I have someone on the inside. Someone much closer than you think. She looked meaningfully at Adam. My husband stood frozen, his face unreadable. Adam, I whispered. What is she talking about? I'm so sorry, Laura, he said quietly. But there's something I never told you about why I really came to work at Archer Enterprises. The room temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees as my world began to tilt on its axis. But before Adam could continue, our daughter let out a happy squeal and pressed one more button on her toy phone. The screens around us suddenly filled with new information. Information that made both Adam and Vivian's faces go white with shock. Project Phoenix isn't what you think it is, I said quietly, as the screens displayed the full truth of our quantum computing research. It was never about communications technology, Adam finished, his voice filled with dawning understanding. You were building a defense system. Vivian stared at the screens in confusion. I don't understand. Our intelligence said. Your intelligence was exactly what we wanted you to find, I explained. Because Project Phoenix's real purpose is to detect and prevent corporate espionage. Like, for example, tracking someone trying to steal employee pension funds. The screen showed a complex web of financial transactions. Every move Carter Industries had made, every account they tried to hide, all mapped and documented by our quantum AI. But Adam. Vivian turned desperately to her son. You said you found evidence of illegal research. The files you accessed were planted, Adam said. Because I already knew the truth about Phoenix. I've known for months. My turn to be surprised. You knew. He smiled softly. I figured it out 3 months ago. The quantum signatures in the network, the pattern recognition.